So on the pitch, I mean, Donaghy always says you were a star from day one. You were always going to play for Kerry, and you're very insistent.
He always says that.
Very insistent that wasn't always going to be the case, and you weren't the minor star. You weren't the guy who was destined for superstardom, which is ironic because you burst on the senior scene, so young, and things go so well. You say at one point, so your first summer, 10 stone, you win an All-Star in '02, and almost overnight the space disappears. Like that's the line you use in the book. The space on the pitch just disappeared. It shocked me, and on some level it fed a certain resentment and almost arrogant, this isn't fucking football kind of rage. And you had to play during that massive period of evolution where suddenly managers, players, everybody's saying, geez, Gooch has got 6 men on him. We hadn't really planned for that. I sense the rage, like bloody hell, what this isn't football at all.
This is what I signed up for. Yeah. But look, Gaelic football in particular will go through evolution all the time.
Yeah.
When I came into the scene, it was 6 on 6, 6 backs versus 6 forwards, and you go at it, and invariably the best will come out.
Would have been nice if you had 5 or 6 years more of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. it was a generational thing.
Yeah.
By later that stage, the northern physicality and the strength and the power really came to the fore. So much so we in Kerry had to change our way a little bit.
Sure.
And we evolved with it, so probably us thinking that we're the most traditional county out of them all, we had to learn or be left behind.
You said a bit of humility needed
here.
And I mean, also their attitude. I mean, so the sledging on the field, Peter Canavan dragging you down in the last minutes of an All-Ireland final. He doesn't care what they're saying in the Sunday game about him. Even on an All-Star trip with Tyrone, it was noticeable. I think it was '05, might have been. Mickey Hart was one of the managers. So you say maybe that's the reason. But in hindsight, I'm not so sure. You noticed on the All-Star trip, you boys are having a great time. It's an All-Star trip. Tyrone boys always have a bottle of water with them in the lobby, using the gym. And maybe you underestimated just how serious and hungry these boys were in some respects.
Yeah, for sure. And you probably need to see that at first hand, Joe, to understand it. And like we were great boys, and we had as much fun as anybody on trips and tours like that. And that's what they're for. But I think what I took coming back from those things was this game has gone to a different level completely in terms of how teams are preparing and minding themselves, even in the off season. Like we trained as hard as anybody, but we were able to have a downtime and off season and enjoy ourselves. This was extending now, and the off season was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we had to learn that and understand it, and where the gym and things was voluntary or wasn't mandatory before, now it was mandatory.
Yeah.
You had to get the most out of your body.
You also, I mean, it's really interesting to get your take in particular, because you were, I guess, one of the principal targets of it. Your take on sledging, on pinching, on all the dark arts that are now pretty much normal, but really went up a notch in that period. Like you make the point at one stage in the book where you talk about how you might hate like a Kieran Kilkenny in a certain way because they rob you of an All-Ireland. But you said it's not real hatred, of course. But the sledgers, the dark arts, you did say in the book that is something closer to more real hatred. And you said, if I was to do that to someone and then meet them at functions down the line, you say, I'd be ashamed to show my face. How could I look that fella in the eye? So you make no bones about it in the book here. To put it mildly, you've no respect for people who do that on the pitch.
No, not that. And like when you go back to, if someone beats us in football, I'll shake their hand and high five them or do whatever you want and say fair play. I just don't. I personally, Joe, couldn't go out and do that in the pitch, whether it's pinching or talking to guys or whispering certain things into their ear. I would be ashamed to meet that person 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the line on the street. People say, it's part of the game, and it's this and that. It's not. It's not to me. And when it gets personal like that, it's not part of the game. So I'm kind of a believer in karma. If you're going out doing that sort of stuff, someday it's going to turn, or something not so nice might happen to you in a match, and it's not part of the game.
I'm not going to be silly enough to ask you to name names, especially. But what crosses a line for you? Have lads mentioned your family to you?
Yes, yeah.
Surely not as far as parents.
No.
But just family.
Family, there's different things that they might talk about something in your personal life, or that they might think is in your personal life, and it's all to get a reaction and knock you out of sync.
And that for you that's just crazy. That's too much.
Yeah.
We're sacrificing too much of, I don't know, our dignity, who we are as people to win. That's what you're saying.
Well, I think it's a kind of weakness in some ways too, that you're going out 6 days a week, 5 days training to get better. To me, if you're going out doing that sort of stuff, you're worried about yourself and things like that. Now, people will say they've done it and it has worked and they got inside someone's head and they've won a match because of it.
Yeah.
Just not part of the game, in my opinion.
Did it work on you?
On occasions, I'd say. Certainly in my earlier part of the year.
And
career.
Is working on you result in you lashing out, or does it result in you becoming so preoccupied with them you're not thinking
Yeah,
clearly?
it's preoccupied, talking back to them, using energy in a bad way, and losing my focus by 5 or 10%, because in big games and small margins, that's all it takes.
I am not here pointing the finger at Philly, but just it was a really interesting passage. 2015 final, that one in the rain, people remember, and you're talking about this whole area generally, not specifically, because you do say Philly's far from the worst I faced, but you say they tell you it's just business and fair enough, full time here. So I'm just standing there waiting for him to finish, thinking, what do you want? Well done, match over, go and enjoy it with your teammates. That's the fucking end of it. But he's telling me, oh, that's just how I play, ... Back to you. And you know something? I don't give a fuck. The game was over. Dublin won. I don't need this now. I don't need an apology. I don't need you'll be back next year. Don't come over to me at the end of the game looking for a hug. Don't come to me wanting to be your friend. You're not. You're an opponent. Move on. Live in the real world. That about captures your feeling towards it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just the way it is. And I don't have any less respect. They won. They beat us fair and square.
Yeah.
Some days opponents get on top of you and they're better than you, and that's it, and you get on with it. Move on.